Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Prime Minister scared convenes NEPO meeting on the COVID-19 virus. ECCB optimistic about the currency union, while previous targets are revised in light of the COVID-19 virus, and panic buying of hand sanitizers and face masks in the wake of COVID-19 virus. The details coming up.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
That's what I want, Daniel. That's exactly what I want. Oh my God, look at that. That's nice.
That's nice. The chance. Where do we start?
So you're ready to take on home ownership, but you don't quite know where to start? We get it. Here are 2 important things to remember when applying for your mortgage.
Visit your bank first. NBD, of course. Discuss with a credit officer how much you can afford before you begin developing your building plans. When purchasing land and building, transfer fees are about 11% of the property value. Savings can cover these added costs. Be smart, build your saving. Let us help. Call us at 255-2337 or visit any of our branches to discuss with us.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Chairman of the National Emergency Planning Organization, NEPO, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit brought together all the important stakeholders for a live meeting of NEPO on Wednesday on the COVID-19 virus. The Minister for Health, Dr. Irving McIntyre, said there was an ongoing plan to sensitize schools as part of a broader effort to alert the entire country. He spoke of information cards, flyers, and PSAs and hand sanitizer dispensers at the island's ports of entry as part of precautionary measures being taken. The Health Minister noted there was close collaboration between the Ministry of Health and 6 of the island's ports. He reassured the nation that there were adequate supplies of surgical masks and protection kits. He re-emphasized the need for the public to adhere to hand-washing guidelines. Dr. McIntyre expressed concern over the yachting sector, saying it was an avenue for risk.
One of the major areas that we face is in the yacht industry. This is really a semi-regulated means of travel and maybe an avenue for risk, in all fairness, for the customs and immigration officers and for the country as a whole. So the controllers of customs within the Caribbean region also voiced their concern on this matter via CARICOM Impact's video conference held recently. So what has been done in this recent correspondence with the Permanent Secretary of Caribbean Customs Law Enforcement Council, that is CCLEC, 2 kiosks have already been shipped with live online system called SailClear RCS Vessel Clearance System, which can assist the region to manage a potential coronavirus outbreak by utilizing pre-arrival notifications. This will mandate that masters of all pleasure yachts, go-fast vessels, and inter-island vessels use the SailClear system submit online declarations regarding their vessels, passengers, and luggage to customs and immigration. Because the yacht is, well, now is a season when we have lots of yachts in Portsmouth, and it might be a little difficult managing that issue. So this is where the entire Caribbean has come together, and they're providing these 2 yachts so that Dominica can be part of the program. All the other islands are also getting their 2 kiosks, and so that we can monitor the yachts coming in.
Meantime, Minister for Education Octavia Alfred reassured the nation that students currently at university in China were well cared for and that they had government's full support.
We are in contact with all of our 83 students all over China. Presently, we have 10 students residing in Wuhan. Get it? I get it right? They are at various universities, 2 males and 7 females, and 1 person is employed. The students have all reported to be well physically and they are safe. Movement is restricted. No outdoor activities, sporting activities or games, no congregating. These rules apply to those on campuses and for the students who live in private apartments. The same exists all over, as local authorities must follow the protocols established. Online classes have started at these universities. The lockdown order has created some anxiety for some of our students. However, the situation is not the same for all students. There are those who are in high spirits. We do make efforts to ascertain the facts of the situation. The situation that may be the case for one student might not be the same for another student. Some students are provided with supplies and meals on their campus. Others are given supplies and they do their own cooking. Some may have to purchase supplies, and for this, the government has made funds available to our students. The students are generally grateful for assistance received through the ambassador.
Leading pharmacy Jolly's is on high alert even if there are no confirmed cases of the COVID-19 virus in Dominica at the moment. Head of Public Health, Public Relations and Sales at Jolly's Pharmacy, Carlton Lando, says they would be exposed as they are among the first employees at the pharmacy to encounter the public.
That makes us way more susceptible than anybody else. But we have taken, prudent measures as well to help protect ourselves. We're hoping that people would also recognize that if they do have a cough, and you've come to your healthcare provider, that you let them know that you're experiencing flu-like symptoms. This is what it contains, and so therefore that the healthcare provider can protect themselves.
There have been reports of shortages of hand sanitizers, and Lando confirmed reports of panic buying.
We've seen a huge spike in people buying nutritional supplements, particularly vitamin C, echinacea, zinc, selenium, golden seal, all of the preparations that they would have heard about that are indicated for fortification of the immune system. We've seen a spike in that. Currently, we are low on supplies. Well, we have no hand sanitizers right now. They're sold out incomplete. Our Savlon, our Lysol, those are really running off the shelf. And of course the mask. People panicked and many people began buying masks early o'clock. Right now we're practically out of masks. We received the shipment of masks last week Wednesday. They were in circulation, and by Saturday there was none. We're talking about plenty, thousands of masks just gone off the door.
In response to the COVID-19 virus, Lando says local businesses are also putting measures in place to protect their employees.
One of the things that I've seen though is that companies are also making precautionary measures. They're taking precautionary measures. They've made their own contingency teams, health and wellness teams that are sending information to their companies, to their staff in terms of what they need to do to protect themselves. So a lot of the companies are buying supplies as well for their staff, hand sanitizers, masks, ensuring that there's Lysol, there are antiseptic agents that can be used to clean surfaces, because as we know, the virus is really spread by droplets. When we cough, when we sneeze from one infected person to another person that's close proximity. The virus can also harbor on surfaces as well. So it's not merely just about on the skin, but also the surfaces. So we're talking about tables and doorknobs and the computer, the iPad, the laptop, the cell phone. These virus can stay up to 5 days on these surfaces, and so that's why it's important that we must sanitize as thoroughly as possible. We may have seen in developing countries where there were cases that entire groups and people who inhabited those offices had to leave it vacant, and sanitizers had to come in and clean after and make sure that everything is up to normal before people can actually reoccupy those spaces.
Individuals are beginning to wear face masks in the workplace in an effort to protect themselves and others from the COVID-19 virus. But is the use of the mask as protective gear overrated? Are individuals placing too much faith in the face mask? Pharmacist Carlton Lando.
The information that we have from the authorities, and when we talk about the authorities, we're talking about the World Health Organization, PAHO, and so forth. They're saying that the masks are not necessary right now, particularly if you're protecting yourself against the coronavirus, because especially if it's not in your country or where you are. And so therefore, it makes no sense really using the mask now. However, if you do want to protect yourself from other respiratory diseases, then you're free to do so. And so I don't see an issue with wearing of the mask. However, if you're wearing the mask and the virus is on the outside of the mask, it's most likely you may have to take off the mask at some point, and if you don't wash your hands, then you can actually get infected. So that is the technical part of the mask. That and people should also remember too that if you're using a mask to protect yourself, it's only one usage. So every day that mask would have to be changed. You cannot. You cannot, right, that's it. You cannot use the mask today, put it in your pocket, put it somewhere, and next day reuse it. It's one usage, and that is it.
Lando says what he wants to encourage people to do is to wash their hands.
We recommend that the happy birthday song has to be sung twice. No, rather than once, twice. It doesn't matter whether you've washed your hand with cold water or warm water, it is going to kill the germs. So don't get yourself so paranoid and saying, well, I have to boil water to wash my hand versus using cold water. Remember that the water has to be running water. So we do not want everybody in the family to be washing hands in one basin, of the same water. So it has to be running water, whether it's water from a jug, a cup. But once the water is running, you wash your hands, singing the happy birthday twice. We want to encourage people to keep your fingernails short as well, short and clean. Maybe now is not the time to have all of the acrylics and all of these things right now, because we know that bacteria, viruses can harbor underneath the fingernails and can cause reinfection. Remember as well that whether you may have the flu-like symptoms or whether you may suspect that you may be coming down with the coronavirus, Lord forbid, antibiotics will not be the cure. So coming to a doctor, coming to a pharmacy, and seeking the intervention of the pharmacist or the doctor to write a prescription for antibiotics, that's not going to help. Remember that it's caused by a virus and not a bacterium, and so therefore it's not going to do anything. However, certain viruses can be a bit invasive and can cause subsequent infections, what we call bacterial secondary infections. And in a case like that, that's when antibiotics are used or are warranted. But other than that, the use of antibiotics will not protect you.
Chairman of CARICOM and Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley says in light of the COVID-19 virus, the greatest risk is fear and panic. The CARICOM chairman was addressing a recent meeting where CARICOM heads approved a protocol in response to the COVID-19 virus. A framework was also put in place for an expanded Bureau of Heads of Government to be able to immediately work to marshal the resources that will be necessary, whether from the partners in the tourism and travel industry, partners in the international financial institutions, or the local or regional private sector, in order to be able to increase capacity to contain and manage any outbreak.
According to Dr. Etienne and Paho, the chances of us finding severe cases are really 1 in 5. And even then, of those, the numbers of persons going into ICU are really very limited and more likely to be persons who are either over 80 or who have serious underlying conditions of a chronic nature. Each country has now to do their own analysis. That's why you heard me say earlier that we're asking PAHO and CARFA to help us with a gap analysis, so that when we go now to talk to the regional and international financial institutions and our stakeholders in the private sector, that we can sensibly put together something that is not full of bells and whistles, but that is designed to take care and to stabilize what is the immediate situation. You know, if there is an appropriate vaccination in 6 to 9 months, we'll look back on this as we look back at SARS, at H1N1.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Si ou ni maladie HIV et bien maladie sexuelle, si ou pas protéger corps là ou kane sexe avec plusieurs monde, ça kay mette la vie ou en gros danger. Ou ka exposer tout partenaire au poison et que tant ki ka vini avec maladie. Serve yo condom chaque fois ou kane sexe. Changer qui est important pour découvrir maladie à bonheur ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Pour responsabilité, protéger corps et puis les autres. Examiner corps. Aider du bout si même maladie HIV et l'autre maladie sexuelle.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. A positive outlook for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, ECCU. Here is Andrea Louis with more.
The encouraging words from Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, Timothy Antwine. Antwine was the featured speaker at the DAIC's Chuanit luncheon on Wednesday and said though the union is operating below its target, it is on a positive trajectory.
The first key message is for us today is that the outlook for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union is positive, although we are operating below our growth target, but risk loom. The second thing is that faster economic progress necessitates acceleration of structural reforms. I said this at the Growth and Resilience Dialogue last month. In the region, our region, we cannot change our history. We cannot change our geography, but we certainly can change our trajectory. And that is true for Dominica as for any other country in the currency union. And what we want to do is to raise the trajectory of our country, Dominica, and the currency union as a collective.
The governor went on to explain that the COVID-19 virus has negatively impacted the global economy, which will lead to a downward revision of its trajectory.
In terms of the global forecast, you note basically that the global economy has been slowing and that it was projected to go a little faster than last year up until the arrival of COVID-19. Now that that has arisen, projections will have to be revised downwards, so the economy, global economy, is going to do less than the 3.2% that was forecast.
Mr. Antoine says despite the impact of the COVID-19 on the global economy, there is still increased movement of tourists which the region can benefit from.
Global tourism is on the increase. So yes, at the moment there may be a bit of a damper because of that virus. But make no mistake, more and more people are traveling globally. And if you looked at the numbers last year, several of our countries hit record numbers for stayover arrivals and in some cases cruise. We, as tourism-dependent economies, many of our countries, will benefit from that global trend. So that's the positive.
The Chonit luncheon was held under the theme, Transforming the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union Together, Dominica's Scorecard.
Dominica's debate team expressed confidence in regaining the Windward Islands debating competition title. Andrea Louis reports.
The team, comprising 4 students from the Dominica State College, will take part in the competition scheduled for 6th and 7th March. This is the 4th staging of the debating competition. The Dominica State College won the title in 2017 and 2018, while Grenada won the title in 2019. Dean of Student Activities and coach of the DSC debating team is confident the title will return to Dominica.
Preparations for the Windward Islands debating competition have been going very well. The venue is set. We've invited guests. The students have been preparing. The Windward Island debating teams from St. Lucia, Grenada and St. Vincent are all set and ready to go. They'll be arriving from Wednesday into Thursday. So preparations have been going fairly well. We're very confident. We always go into competitions confident as ever. It's all up to performance on the day of the competition, and we don't go with any preconceived notion that any team is better than our team. So we're going to go in and give it our all and hopefully emerge victorious on the 7th of March.
The debaters from Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenada are preparing for 3 topics which are pertinent to youth in the region.
So we have 3 very interesting topics that will be debated at this competition. The 2 semi-final debates will be revolving around youth and climate change. So one of the topics is that it is the responsibility of the youth to take the lead in climate change action, and the other semi-finals topic is that the use of medical cannabis is in danger of becoming another ploy of the pharmaceutical industry. So 2 big topics for the semi-finals, one as it relates to youth and climate change, and the other one medical cannabis. And for the finals, we are going to be debating this topic as it relates to youth and their involvement in politics. So the topic is the lack of youth involvement in politics is as a direct result of the political culture of the region.
Dominica's sole electricity company, Domlec, has come on board as the main sponsor, contributing $30,000 towards hosting this event. Channel 5 News also spoke to the 4 individuals who will be representing the country. Cody Jacques is the only student among the 4 to have participated in the 2019 debate.
I do have some experience, but it might not necessarily be experience that comes to play to help countries win in this competition. So the only time I'll be able to say is when I actually see my competitors and hear their speeches and stuff. Well, last year I got to sit through lots of speeches from the other countries, and so I have experience in the sense that I listen to what they say. I learned how they structured their rebuttals. I got phrases that they used and the ways that they presented their information that I would have otherwise not known about. So I feel that going into this competition, it will be of much use to me.
I feel quite ecstatic preparing for this competition. Preparations are going well and the support is extremely good. The only challenge I'm seeing so far is with the research. It's quite hard getting a bit of researchers on board, considering we just swapped our researcher for our speaker, but it is a process and I believe that we will get through.
One of the topics, my personal favorite, is the topic that deals with youth and climate change, because my majors I have to do a lot of the climate change and stuff like that, so I found it very interesting. So as well as the marijuana topic, I found it to be very relevant as we now look to medical cannabis as sort of a solution, as it is being legalized in the Americas as well as in Europe. And the last topic for the finals, the youth and politics, I found to be very interesting, especially as we came out in a time just before the large election season, and then there's the election season in America as well.
Preparations have been going really well, actually. You know, we're getting there, and I think by the time the competition comes on Friday, we'll be ready. It's been very challenging, to say the least, balancing everything with 3 majors plus the research, which is very tedious, but it gets done.
The 4th annual Windward Islands debating competition will take place at the Goodwill Parish Hall and will start at 9 a.m. on both Friday 6th and Saturday 7th March. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And an update to Dominica's legislation to better manage the use and disposal of pesticides on the cards. The comment from national correspondent of the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, Ryan Ansem. Ansem was speaking at a 2-day training workshop which formed part of a regional pesticide management project. The 4-year-long $30 million project comes to an end in December, and Ansem says Dominica has benefited from several components of this project.
The main components are safe disposal of persistent organic pesticide, what we know as POPs, and other obsolete pesticide, and PCBs. Now, PCBs are very important. It is basically looking at transformer oils and old chemicals in electronics. Component 2 speaks to technology transfer and methodologies for identification and how do we contain sites that are contaminated by pesticides. Component 3 speaks of development of system for the management of empty pesticide containers. I can tell you, 5 months ago we had a very good training dealing with empty containers and how do we remedy contaminated sites.
One of the components will require Dominica to upgrade its legislative framework to help in the better management of pesticides.
Component 4 deals with strengthening the regulatory framework and institutional capacity for sound management of pesticide. This workshop falls under this component when we speak of training and capacity building for inspectors. We also in the future want to look at our legislative framework when we speak about our act and our regulation. And so our Pesticide Act is basically needs some updating, and this project will look at that.
The regional training on pesticide management goes hand in hand with the Ministry of Agriculture's mandate to ensure sustainable agricultural practices in the country.
Component 5 speaks about the promotion of alternative to chemical pesticide. And you heard the director speak about new initiative and new technology in agriculture. A new ministry that speaks of sustainable agriculture, and so we need to find alternative way in controlling our pests and diseases. And so we have to look at integrated pest management. How do we integrate crop and livestock and reduce the use of chemical and the proper management of pesticide in our environment? And the last component speaks about monitoring and evaluation.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Prime Minister Skerrit convenes NEPO meeting on the COVID-19 virus. ECCB optimistic about the currency union, while previous targets are revised in light of the COVID-19 virus. And panic buying of hand sanitizers and face masks in the wake of the COVID-19 virus. You may access our news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.